On this episode, strategy plus action equals dominating an industry with focused intention.
It's time to think bigger and make bold moves to create the life and business you were meant for. We're here to give you the latest in marketing strategies and the confidence to put them into action. We bring you hardworking entrepreneurs starting from scratch and visionary leaders of cutting-edge companies looking to scale. You have a front row seat as we guide these business owners to a path of massive growth through customized marketing approaches and creative sales initiatives. Welcome to Strategy and Action. Here are your hosts, Jason Croft and Johnathan King.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We are here with Shaun Clark, co-founder of HighLevel. How's it going, Shaun?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's been an amazing journey to watch you guys build this. We met Robin, your co-founder there, 4 years ago now. And at the beginning of all of this, and it's been an amazing just journey to watch you guys do, and we're so impressed. We want to have you on. We'll have Robin on in the future as well. And so anything you want to say bad about him, you can now. He'll have plenty of time to,
I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Shaun, just excited to have you guys on. We're talking with Jason, and I said you actually were the one that helped me get onboarded, and that was one of the things that set you guys apart. I'm like, the co-founder just onboarded little old me, like 2-client agency at the time. I was like, he walked me through everything and onboarded me. And so you guys have never let that service aspect and that intention slip from this product, which is in the service and the software, which is why I think you guys are so successful. But if you want, tell us a little bit about what the initial idea behind HighLevel was, and then what it's turned into.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the original idea was to try to help small businesses grow. And what we learned very early on, thankfully, for our sake, is that the small business owner is actually the wrong person to actually help themselves grow. They really need to work with a marketing agency. And so when we realized that, we decided, okay, well, how can we help the agency serve the actual client better? And that's really where we got started. And, we started with the idea that, a lot of marketing agencies generate leads for their clients. Those leads come in. They just sort of sit there, no follow-up occurs, and then the lead doesn't turn into a customer. So we started there and thought, okay, how do we help that problem out? And we started with automating the follow-up process, reaching out to the client, staying with the lead until they start talking back. And then we kind of have just sort of taken it from there, and we continue to move more and more in the direction of, hey, how can we continue to add every tool in the toolkit that agency needs to do a great job for its customer. And, and then in more recent times, we're now starting to think about, well, how do we stop creating yet another tool for the agency, but now how do we create the tools for the actual business owner that they can use in conjunction with the agency? Because we're finding that that's really going to be the key combination going forward.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. So paint us that picture. What does that follow-up look like right in your platform right now of HighLevel?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when any kind of conversation comes in, our goal is really to be that front door for the business. So it could be a lead coming in from a Google ad or a Facebook ad, but it could also be a web chat on your website, or it could be a form fill on the site, or even an inbound call. What we do right now is we automatically start following up the lead based on what's multi-channel. So it could be text, it could be email, it could be a phone call, it could be a voicemail drop. The whole idea, though, is, hey, how do we turn this conversation into what it really needs to be, which is a sale for that small business owner? And most of the time, when you're running an ad, for example, it's fairly easy. You've told them, hey, listen, click here and perform this action, fill out this form, get this offer, that kind of thing. And our goal is to then immediately make sure we're hitting you up in the first 5 minutes saying, great, thanks a lot for, accepting our offer or pursuing this interest. Can we get you to take the next step, basically? And most of the time that's, can we get you to book an appointment? And then from there we're trying to get them to respond, and hopefully when they respond positively. And if they respond positively, we can do things like send out calendar links and say, oh, great, grab a time that works for you, and actually book them onto the small business owner's calendar and do the appointment reminders and all that stuff. But basically, it's the same process. It's, hey, this person just raised their hand. They said they were interested. How do we get them in touch with you or booked on with you as fast as possible? Because if we can do that really successfully, we know we're going to turn that person into a customer. And if we delay the process, then they're probably going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, and there's so much data to that, right? Like
Yeah.
we know as the hours tick by, that conversion goes down. And speaking of data, that's the other strong selling point to that agency as well, because now the agency can hold up and say, here's what came in, here's how long it took you, here's the problem.
Right.
Not us and our ad that we ran for you. It was the no follow-up that happened afterwards.
That's right. Yeah, precisely. I think it's about creating defensibility for the agency, as well as the automation. And as we go forward in time, we'll continue to strengthen both of those aspects, I think. And I think also provide the agency with some other tools that they can use to really strengthen the relationship with the client. Because also we're finding that if you do things, for example, like we have web chat in the platform, if you put that web chat widget on your client's website, the likelihood that they stick goes way up, because now all of a sudden overnight they're getting free leads that they weren't getting before, and now they're coming through your platform. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? I can't leave you now, because now I've got all these leads coming in, and I'm not having to pay for those, and I have an easy way to get back to them, and it just makes the sticky factor go way up.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. And I think that's one of the things you guys are the best at, is not only retention for the platform itself, but taking those same concepts that you've applied to your business and then helping other individual agency owners and businesses increase their retention rates and keep customers longer and add and create more value. So that's one of the things that I just absolutely love, which takes me to one of my favorite parts of y'all's platform, which is that marketplace. So many people right now are starting an agency. We just interviewed a friend yesterday, and he's just starting. And the first recommendation we had for him was, hey, who's going to handle your back end? If you don't have experience running Facebook ads or Google or SEO, who's going to do all of that?
Yeah.
You guys have put together something for that person in that position. Tell us a little bit about the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the struggles, obviously, not only for new agency owners, but even existing agency owners, so that, when you're trying to scale, I think the biggest mistake people make is they get into the fulfillment business to begin with. Being an agency is really about learning how to sell and learning how to package and price. Those are the things that are almost more important. Actually running the ads or developing the landing pages or creating the websites, these things are important, but they're not really where I would start and focus as an agency. And so what we've tried to do to help that is we've created a white label services marketplace where you can get that fulfillment done. You can get it done at a price where you can mark it up and you can still make money off the actual services. But as an agency owner, you're not focused on going out and running ads and learning Facebook Business Manager and all of those things. You're really focused on your client, selling them what they need, figuring out what their needs are, and just really bringing the solutions into those businesses that are going to help them be successful.
Absolutely. And I've definitely taken advantage of that. So I am a fan. The other thing that I've seen and also benefited from, and so thankful to HighLevel, is the affiliate aspect. You guys took a very unique approach at building the community first, and that was something that you don't see very often with businesses and products. But you didn't run any paid advertising or anything for forever,
Yeah, and it's still very minimal. I'd still say it's 1% of our revenue.
That's crazy. And
well, our community is probably our biggest asset, I would say, by far. We really think of ourselves as being a partner with our customer, and we really think that we're trying to do something different here. We're trying to build a software company in a totally different way than everybody else. Most software companies are going to go out, they're going to sort of use sales to sort of drive through their first million of revenue, and then they're going to go out and raise money. They're going to hire even more salespeople, and those salespeople are going to do even more sales. But what ends up happening is you get into this weird, funny situation where you're not so focused on your customer as much as you're focused on raising more capital to hire more salespeople. And you just invariably, I think, puts yourself at odds with your customer in many scenarios. And a lot of times I just think it leads to a very disaffected sort of company-customer relationship. And for us, we just didn't want to do that. We wanted to come out, choose a customer base, serve that customer base. But also what was important about that model is that the distribution at that point, then it really was reliant upon us doing a great job and having that person, that customer being able to recommend us to somebody else. And so that's really how we built the business to date. And to me, I think it's a really honest way to do the job. I mean, if you build something that someone's willing to recommend, I think that's the right answer.
Yeah, and then everything else around that can be a magnification of that, right? If you have that foundation to start with, that's huge, and that's why we wanted to have you on to talk about that focused intention, right? To then go out and dominate, because each idea that you have, that you test, that you put out there, that only comes from we're doing this, right? And being so intentional and focused on that. Is that a matter of blocking everything else out and saying in here's what we're going to do for the next X amount of years once you sort of have that idea? And then, or is it a little bit more, each idea comes in as just like, hey, the market's asking for this. Great. What was, I guess that initial, once you have the idea, did you realize quickly, like, we've got to just go all in on this one direction to make this work, or did that sort of evolve a little bit?
Oh, it definitely was evolutionary. I mean, I think that, I think if people say that they jump to some big conclusion very quickly, I think that's they're just lying. But I think certainly that's true for us. I mean, for me, it was early on, there was a recognition that the product we were trying to build had already surpassed the ability for the average small business owner to comprehend its use. And, partly because we're software engineers and don't know any better. And I think partly because we were really thinking about serving the client as best as we could imagine doing so, we just felt compelled to find a different direction. If you look at most of the SMB focused marketing products, they're very dumbed down products and they don't serve the client very well. And I think they've made just sort of an implicit compromise. It's, look, we know you can't handle this, so we're not going to build it. We're gonna sell you what we think you can handle, and we're gonna stop there because we know if we go any farther than that, even though technically speaking, you really should be doing all these other things, you just don't have time, Mr. Business Owner or Mrs. Business Owner. So we'll just stop right here. And we could have taken that track. I think we just are more excited by the possibilities of, well, what if people were using these things? What if they were engaging in this way? What if they could find their way to success with this sort of feature set? Wouldn't it be amazing to see the results for their businesses? And in doing so, it just became abundantly clear that we needed to partner with somebody who had the time and the energy and the expertise to really understand how to deploy those solutions into the small business. And that's how we found our way to agencies. So, I mean, that journey was definitely evolutionary. And then even within that, once we knew that was kind of our direction, I would say there's been a huge journey that we're still on to understanding that market. Because, to say, hey, we serve marketing agencies, I used to think I knew what that meant, every marketing agency looks like this and they're composed like that. And, but it's completely wrong. I mean, there's this huge gradient of what marketing agencies are. And we've really evolved in terms of who we're serving, how we're serving them, and what we anticipate doing going forward. So, I mean, it's an ever-changing thing.
It should be.
I love that.
Right? I think that's the thing, constantly listening to the market and then allowing that agency to come in and be the interpreter, right? The interpreter of that's their job, is to help that end user, that small business owner, with the solutions they need. And then each one of them, they're going to have what they need, different levels of understanding. And some folks are going to be just like, don't worry about it. We're just going to get you leads, and they can go in and utilize HighLevel at its, full capacity and all of that. And then, for the ones who want to know a little more, they can let them know.
Exactly. And one of the questions I have that's, how has COVID affected not you guys from the business standpoint, but the application of using HighLevel? I feel like this could really be a benefit for people now that a lot of people are more remote and you're working from home. I remember watching you guys just expanding and seeing all of the new faces on the Zoom calls but global reach. And so you guys, were experts at this running a really big company virtually with people around the world. And I know that a lot of that experience has applied to the product as well. So how has that been helpful in the current, situation with COVID and its impact on business?
Yeah. So, from internally, we were always remote from the beginning. So there's been really zero change there. So from our perspective, we're just a little less odd than we used to be. And so ultimately, I think, that for us didn't change anything. And then just in terms of, I think, other people, though, I think as they've gone remote and as businesses have had to cope, I think the digital marketing agencies have really adopted the platform at a higher rate than they might have otherwise done, because now there's a really big reason for them to do so, right? Whereas before it was like, oh, well, this digital agency thing, we can do this locally, we can walk around and meet people and shake their hands and all of that. But now that they can't do any of that stuff. So it's changed the game pretty considerably.
Awesome, man. And, where do you see HighLevel in a few years? What is that big goal?
Yeah, we really want to be the digital agency operating system. And so for us, what we foresee is a big change in the agency space going forward. We think that agencies today are primarily offering services, and they'll continue to do that. But I think they'll also adopt a different role. I think they'll also add on the technology partner role, because there is this considerable need for small businesses to adopt marketing technology. But marketing technology is not going to get simpler or easier anytime soon, and I don't think ever. And so I think most small business owners are going to rely on the agency to be the guide to choosing and implementing and running and all of that technology across their small business. And so I think this is going to provide amazing revenue opportunities for agencies, and it's also going to drive up the stickiness factor. We're sort of thinking about it, we're calling it sort of SaaS mode, where it's almost like every agency is going to become almost like a software company unto itself. And so for our part, we'd love to power that and be the main provider that agencies turn to as they adopt that model and as they change and offer more services and products downline to their actual SMB customers.
Oh, yeah. And then going in and all along the way, I guess, educating and training those agencies to do that is just a win-win, right?
Absolutely. That's really our next big thing. So right now what we've recognized for agencies is there's a lot of software that these small businesses need to adopt tomorrow, yesterday, right? But I think the agency is the right person to help them adopt it, not only to sell it to them and use it as a revenue stream to grow their agency, but also as the partner to come in and actually do the implementation as well as the ongoing support, because I think there's a lot of revenue there. And I think some of the services that are already in the agency space today, they're very fickle and they're very, go ask anybody who does Facebook ads for a living. The average hang time for their customers is 3 or 4 months. And I think the reason why is it's just always going to be like that. The dentist is going to look at the $1,500 bill and say 4 months later, I don't know, maybe we can do without this for now. But the software remains. It's incredibly sticky. And so ultimately, I think we can create this really great model where even when the services ebb or the services flow, the software remains, and it creates this sort of consistent connection between the agency and their customer and brings that lifetime value way up. And keeps the door open, honestly, for additional engagements down the road. Whereas right now, you bring the Facebook ads person on, they run the Facebook ads, and then you fire them. Now they're an ex-vendor, not a current vendor. And so it changes the relationship dynamically or dramatically. And so I think we have this really great plan to come in and help the agencies change that.
Yeah, that's strong. Because once you're in there and you provide a solution in one area that is just you're indispensable, but even that part where you just help them in one area, well, then they just naturally, oh, could you do this also? And just like you're saying, be that evolution. So you're really, I mean, you're a business development partner rather than just a commodity.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's this misunderstood idea, from the business owner's perspective. I don't think they want to hire 3 people to do their marketing.
No.
But I think from the agency perspective, I hear this all the time. Someone will say, well, I'm really comfortable with or really good at Google ads or Facebook ads. And I respect the feeling, but I think there's a bit of selfishness in that. I think you need to see it from your customer's point of view, not your point of view. And I think that some people will say, well, but I don't know how to do websites, or I don't know how to do these other things that I don't know how to do. And I think the answer is that's great. I don't actually think you should learn. What I think you should figure out is how to fulfill the need with a competent provider, but you're the source of that solution. And I think in lots of other parts of business, you'll see people who take on this role of consultant, and they're no less valuable for having done so. And if anything, they're way more valuable because the business owner can just say, well, I can always rely on that person to help me with that thing. And by being able to, and it's the fact that you're reliable that makes you valuable, not the fact that you're necessarily the perfect person. And I think it's so funny. It's funny that I think in so many other areas, this is already just a normal thing. When you have when you have a general contractor come and remodel your house, they're going out and getting like the plumber and the roofer and the whatever. And you never think to yourself, well, what's wrong with that person? Why can't they do it all? You're just like, oh, thank goodness they know a really good roofer. Thank goodness they can guarantee that their work is going to be good. I don't have to go out and figure it all out myself. Well, I think the marketing agency of the future is really that person. Like, oh yeah, I brought Joe in. He's an expert at, dental PPC ads, but you may not even know he's there. He's just part of the roster of people that I know. And it's that roster that creates that value and the technology that comes with it. I know that you need this software or this piece of technology. And even if that's not you specifically, I think the value is abundantly there. And so agencies really need to take a more holistic view on how they help their clients succeed.
Yeah, I love that analogy so much because we get caught up in that. Oh, they're going to ask who's doing this and what track record do they have? Like if you just sell them the solution, don't worry, I'll take care of it. That's everything.
Yep. Exactly. Well, Shaun, how can we help you? I mean, what are you guys currently just obsessed with right now? What are you focused on?
Well, I mean, I think that it's funny. I mean, I'm a software engineer, and so I tend to find that I focus a lot on this new feature or that new feature. But I think that realistically today we're already at a point where we have something for almost every agency out there. So for me, it's about just getting the word out and letting everybody know we're here, because I suspect that the vast majority of the people that we hope to have as our customers in the long term don't even know we yet exist. So the more agencies we can get the word out to, I think that's the most important thing. Because again, I think that what we're doing here is unique and special. I mean, we're the only platform that's agency only. We're the only platform that gets up every day and asks themselves the question, how do we help agency owners make more money? And I think there's something great about that. And we're over 6,000 agencies now, and 150,000 SMBs underneath those agencies, small businesses. And I think we're on the right path. And what we just need is more agencies to join the band, and together we're all going to win. I mean, we're taking all of the dollars we bring in and we're investing them right back into engineering and support and training, and trying to help make agencies better every day, and by being their partner. So, the more we can get out to, the better. Man, just think that's just huge. And finally, with almost the hot seat question, this is the secret that all people need to know. You are the perfect person to tell us this answer. How in the world do you do everything that you do
I mean, you can just give us perspective, because I remember seeing a glimpse of your calendar at one point, and there was like 25 or 30 calls in one day. How do you do it, Shaun Clark? What is the strategy?
I mean, to be honest, I will really say it is about having an incredible team. I mean, I am a second-time SaaS founder, and in my first SaaS company, I literally tried to do everything myself, and it was a horrible experience, and I near ran myself into the ground doing it. I would say that this time around, I mean, I have two other amazing co-founders who are really great at things that I'm not great at. And one of those things is team building. And so they've both done an exceptional job in their areas, building out a fantastic team. And were it not for those people, I couldn't do what I do. I still take back-to-back calls pretty much every single day. And I love doing it. And I love talking to customers. I love talking to agencies. I'm super passionate about trying to make the world a better place for agencies. I truly believe they're the linchpin between small business success and failure. And I think that if they don't thrive, small businesses will not thrive. And so I'm very passionate about finding every way I can to make that happen, even if that just means getting on the phone with individual agency owners to help them through individual issues, whatever they may be. So, but I will say at the end of the day, without a great team, none of this would happen. So for me, that's really the secret sauce. And then I would also say having an amazing community. I mean, if you go in our Facebook group today, what you'll see is people asking questions, and the answers are not coming from internal staff members at HighLevel. They're coming from other agency owners. And I think there's something so magical about it. It's the simple idea that not only are they giving answers in terms of, click here, do that, very technical stuff, but they're also giving qualitative stuff like, well, my experience has been when you run that type of ad, or when you have that type of landing page or that type of button, it's awesome. It's agency owners helping other agency owners thrive and grow. And to me, it's really the community that makes that possible. So I would say between having an amazing internal team and having just a fantastic community, that's how you win.
Man. Yeah, that's great. And to watch, even to listen to you in this, right? And it comes from your knowledge, certainly of your product, but having those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agency calls, bringing them on, state of the industry, you're really positioning yourself as that thought leader for the industry, for the agency industry. And I encourage you to lean into that even more. We're certainly going to do our part to share this out of, hey, listen to this. There's some prophetic things coming in. And so Seriously. Really start positioning your agency this way. I think that's really strong. And if you can combine that with the community you already have, which has come because, again, of that intention in the very beginning, then you're unstoppable.
Yep, I'm excited. I think this has been a tough year for everybody, but I anticipate next year is going to be amazing. And I think we'll come out strong with our messaging next year as we drive this point home. And I think it's going to be magical. And, I actually think it's never been a better time to be a digital agency. If you go look at Google Trends and you search digital marketing agency, there are more searches today for digital marketing agency than there ever has been since Google tracked the term back in 2004 by total percentage of searches being done at any given time. So it's the number of people looking for digital marketing agencies out there is huge. And if you're thinking about getting into being a digital marketing agency, now's the time to do it. Every small business owner now knows, hey, listen, I may be struck down by COVID in one way or another, but I know I need to get online, and I'm looking for someone to help me do that. And they understand that the term is digital marketing agency. So, I highly suggest getting out there and making it happen for yourself.
Fantastic. We second that for sure.
Awesome.
Shaun, how can feel? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, man! I was just gonna say thank you so much again, and even just with the affiliate thing, I think that is almost a doorway into the agency space as well. Being able to understand how to market this and understanding that HighLevel is a product in itself that you can then go out and market. So
That's true. Yes. Our 40% recurring affiliate commission is very cool. And I'm very happy that we do that. And I think it's a great way to say thank you to all of the people we work with and all of the people who are willing to recommend us. And to be honest, I would, I think it's a really genuine way to do it. I mean, most companies are going to hire sales teams, right? We don't have to hire those sales teams because our customers are our salespeople. And I think they make way better salespeople than a salesperson ever would be anyways, because those people can relate to each other. Those people can share with each other. Those people can show each other how they use the platform to be successful for their agencies. So I just think that personally, it's the absolute best way to grow a business. And I'm just proud that we've been able to do it this way. And I can't wait to continue it.
Oh yeah. Because, and that's that next level of, the companies that say, oh, well, we just, we rely on our customers, our good word of mouth, our this and that. That's taking that sentiment and putting dollars behind it. We would have hired a sales team. We mean it. So here's what we're gonna pay for it, even in that best possible way.
Absolutely. You're totally right.
And you guys literally pay my car note every month. So
that's great. And I'm proud of that. I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Yes, I went to Italy last year with HighLevel money as well. So I'm
nice.
Yeah, where do people go to find out more?
Just go highlevel.com, or more importantly, go look up some great affiliate like Johnathan here, and talk to him and click on his affiliate link. That's probably the better way to go. So I'll go HighLevel or talk to Johnathan or somebody else, and I'm all for it. But I'm just thankful that you guys were willing to have me on today.
Man, thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll see you
all right, guys. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of this show. If you ever need help building out custom strategies for your business or deciding what actions to take next, head over to MediaLeadsCo.com and let's connect. I'll talk to you soon on the next Strategy in Action.